Whose fault is it? I would like to know, and you would like to know as well. Whose fault is it for crypto altcoins not pumping by this point in the cycle? It's nobody's fault. Just like asking the question. You go outside, it's raining. Whose fault is it? Doesn't matter, friends. It's a cycle. We didn't ask for the worst, longest period in 45 years for the business cycle. It is what it is. What are we going to do? Quit now? We can't quit. We've come this far. I mean, you can quit. I'm not quitting. You're basically balls in. Over is in. We've got no choice, really. You know, what are you going to do? Just throw in the towel now? But think about it. Throw in the towel and do what? Okay, you click sell. Think about it. Okay, click sell into what? You say, oh, you're going to click sell. You're just going to go into Bitcoin. Well, we know Bitcoin correlates to the global liquidity printer, yeah, M2. Eventually, though, they keep printing. It eventually sparks the business cycle. And then that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's a positive flywheel on the way up. Then you might say, okay, no, screw it. I don't want to touch Bitcoin. I want to go into just stablecoins. Okay, man, you're selling after 4.5 years down, though. You're selling, dude, you're selling after 31 months of bad ISM, right? You might say, oh, you want to go into stocks now. But you're buying after like a 13, 14-year bull market. If stocks go euphoric with AI, you know crypto is going up, right? Because people are going to be confident about the future. So what else is there? Gold. What about gold? Gold correlates to global M2 as well. It's just a slower rate than Bitcoin. You might get into silver that's got a bit of a ratio multiplier on gold, a bit of slingshot leverage. You basically got nowhere to go. You might go, oh, let's get into property. You're also buying, you're buying everyone else's Ponzi bags as well in property. Property also correlates just to debasement of currency. You know that, friends? The advantage with property, though, is they let you depreciate the house, number one, and you can get some tax advantages too, and they let you leverage, but you have to leverage because the thing's so expensive, you know? So they're all like artificial government implementation. So you're basically cornered. See, I'm just saying it's cornered because we haven't pumped. But really, when you put this out, man, the signs are very, very clear. Like, crypto is still the place to be, friends. This business cycle, man, gone for 31 months. Man, every month we thought, yep, now's the time. Yeah, we thought that, man. What are you going to do? We generally thought it was a time, you know? So remember, I've told you many times, it's not Hexagon's cheating. It's not Richard Hart. It's not any of us, man. It's just the business cycle. You know, if people who don't want to understand that, okay, dude, you know, you can go drink soy by yourself. PMI coming out at 48.5. Oh, boy. Wow. That's all I'll say. We just got to be patient. We've been very, very, very patient. Yeah, I know. I mean, you can click sell and leave. I mean, be my guest. The market's got to consume someone's soul. It's all reflected in the Ethereum price as well, friends, and ETH BTC. So you already know it's been a very, very, very long time. Look, to me, it's still coin flips toss, right? Are we just going to peak out at the end of this year? Maybe. You know, are we going to have like a compressed alt season that just goes rocketing up? I don't know. Is it going to be extended into 2026? We're in that 50-50 zone, you know, but we literally had 6 red months in a row for others BTC. We did. Okay. I want to remind you as well. Okay. Think about this. Okay. I support the current friend, and that's you. But look at this. The bull market starts when you kill the final bull. We know that, yeah? I've told you this time and time again. When did the bull market start? When we killed the final bull, which was in November 2022, FTX. People had their final bit of hope in the cryptocurrency industry. That's when actually the bull market started. What about, when does a bear market start? So basically, when does our euphoria begin? Our euphoria begins, what does that signal? Well, it's when we've killed the final bear. We've got a lot of bears, friends. We've got a lot of bears. Altcoins, you've got every bear in the world at you. Not only do you have the gold bears, the Bitcoin bears, like Uncle Peter Schiff and everybody else who doubts Bitcoin. Bitcoin maxis, my gosh, dude. You've got a lot of bears there. The whole Bitcoin holder group sector, completely bearish on altcoins. Their only consideration of something that might not be trash was Ethereum. And look how that went. Okay, it just proved them right. ETH BTC going down. So, see, you have to look at that, friends. If you want to win this game, that's opportunity. You think to yourself, wow, I guess we're going to have to go high enough to get you bears on our side. What does that mean? Does that mean, Eric Wall gets naked, starts playing with his willy on stage again with that wizard hat and convince everybody to add the OP code thing in Bitcoin so they can do more altcoin data? Could be. It could be, but it's not going to be that easy, friends. They're all cursed. They are. From the Bitcoin conference and everything, how this arrogance and spitting down on people. That's not the Bitcoin way. Satoshi didn't make Bitcoin for you to be a CUNT. It's meant to liberate mankind. And why do you prefer the government action to slaughter people in crypto? Why do you prefer that over just saying altcoins are okay? Because they do, friends. They literally do. So, we've got it is opportunity, but hopefully, this thing starts to play out soon. Now, friends, remember, I've been talking to you about the StableCoin SuperCycle a lot. Yeah, and it's been confirming everywhere. So there's this video that's uploaded here. I mean, this is Charles Cuckinson, the Cardano founder. He's going to speak about Bitcoin, stablecoins. I'm going to show you this. It's actually an interesting clip. Have a listen.
So, the question was about stablecoins and real-world assets on Bitcoin. And it's kind of funny, when I put my Bitcoin maxi hat on, I say, the reason Bitcoin exists is we had a divorce from the legacy financial system after 2008. And it was not a good divorce. It was a messy, terrible divorce, which, lawyers were involved and all this stuff. And asset-backed stablecoins that are centralized, it's kind of like having to give your kids over to your former partner for the weekend, and you just really hate doing it, but it's court mandated. So I hate the centralization of them. I hate the fact that the banking industry is leaking its way back into the crypto industry because they're putting all the things we tried to get away from into crypto. And so I've always been a fan of algorithmic stablecoins. In fact,
so he's just about to say, right, so as you can see, right, we have to link to stable coins, but there's a connection. But the banks, he goes, they're leaking their way in, their tentacles. So stablecoin SuperCycle, friends, a big theme. Undeniable. That's why, man, if PulseChain can pull off the pDAI story, wow, that will be one for the ages. So he's going to now continue about, see, Cardano has their own stablecoin as well, DJED, JED, which you probably never heard about, you don't really care, but it's backed by Cardano, just like everything else. So just think about this stablecoin theme and the upside potential of these. Let's continue.
I created the very first one with Dan Larimer. It was called BitUSD, and we had a whole ecosystem for it, BitShares. Adana and I are kind of old enough to remember it. And, it did work, but what it did do is kind of show the art of the possible. And we created another one called JED, and it's ADA collateralized, and it's worked pretty well. And I always dreamed of finding a way to have Bitcoin be an algorithmic stablecoin where you use Bitcoin to create a stable value, similar to how the Bretton Woods Agreement worked when you had gold backing US dollars. And that's how you create sound money. You connect it to an anchor point. Now, why that's relevant is it's completely on the cryptosphere. There's no third-party custodian, and it just flows the way you'd want it to flow.
So I just want to remind you as well, when you're looking at a system like this, we're obviously, we want crypto to grow to 10 trillion so our bags can pump and everything can do well and, make up for our freaking 4.5 years of suffering. But you don't want to do this leverage dog shit, friends. It can be super dangerous, man, where you use your Bitcoin or any coin and then borrow and get the stable coin. Your borrowing rate, because people, it always goes bad, man. People always just have too much leverage. Because you don't know, because bear markets, they always go down for lower than you think in price and then longer than you think. Yeah. And then bad stuff happens in your life just to compound it. Like you lose your job. If you've got a medical bill, you have to sell stuff. It always happens, man. It always happens. Yeah. Some people, we get away with it for like one cycle, but like, don't worry about what happened in the past. I'm talking about like, if you're going to be here for another 2, 3, 4, 5 cycles of these 4-year partitions, you're going to get cucked in one of them if you keep playing that game, okay? But let everybody else do it. We want to avoid that stuff, but overall, it's positive for the industry.
What's cool about this is we can still dream about that and work at that. And it's something we're going to think about with or without the legacy world liking it. Because, fuck them. In terms of real-world assets, everything these days is a real-world asset. You got real estate, you got intellectual property, you've got, the hard assets, the soft assets. And really, the name of the game here is how do you give Bitcoiners the ability to participate in that without selling their Bitcoin?
That's ultimately all it comes down to. And that's probably why as well, PulseChain, Richard Hart, PulseChain Pioneers. Yeah, there's upside with these because like you allow people to participate. What does that really mean? It pretty much means, put your collateral somewhere, your asset, put your Bitcoin in, put your PulseChain in, put your Hex in somewhere, and then mint a stablecoin and go do something in the world. And then the theory is you hope, even though they say it's guaranteed, no, it's just still hope, okay? You hope that, let's say, hopefully, right, you had $1 million of Bitcoin one day in the future. And then you borrowed, $100,000 US. You hope that your $100,000, whatever you need to do with it, lasts you 3 or 4 years. And by, that 3 or 4 year mark, you're hoping that your Bitcoin is now worth like $3 million. So it's growing above your borrowing rate. Maybe you're borrowing that $100,000. Maybe your borrowing rate was like 8%. So you hope that Bitcoin's 4-year growth rate continues to be higher than 8%. And obviously what I've shown you now is from the past 4 years, it was actually 67% from 2020 to 2024. 67% per year compounding. So even if this one is 40%, it's still big, right? That's why Michael Chad Saylor will be borrowing and buying infinitely until like he either takes all the US dollars or he just gets liquidated. I'm not even joking. Because like he's just going to keep doing it as long as the growth rate is above his borrowing rate. I want to show you this as well, friends. You want to laugh? Charles Cuckinson. So speaking of Charles, you're going to like this story. Charles Cuckinson, let's actually read this, friends. He told a girl named Roxy that he was actually Satoshi Nakamoto. Chucky! The things men say just to get laid, huh? He said that he made it to distract himself after a woman left him. So we've got these book excerpts. It's kind of funny. I don't judge, okay? It's crazy times. Look, let me read this. But soon, tensions in the house began to rise past the normal annoyances of living and working together. So, although Charles Hoskinson could be charming, even in the bright blue Oxford, pens in his pocket, the CEO would wow the troupe with his performance in promo videos. He could be discourteous, like the time he left his nail clippings on the Mariscapel Airbnb staircase. You got to give him some slack, bro. Like, just think about this, okay, friends? Like, okay, he's Mr. Charles Cuckinson, but come on, bro, the worst thing they can dig on you. Oh, he left his nail clipping somewhere. My gosh, bro. You know what I mean? My God, that's the worst thing you could do. We got like devilish, satanic, child sacrifice stuff all over television, right? All these blue pill cuck garbage rotting the system. And the best, we get like, nail clippings on the staircase. Oh, bro. They continue. There were red flags too. One day, in Mariscapel, when Charles was alone with Roxy, he told her that he was Satoshi Nakamoto. It could be. He said he'd created Bitcoin in an attempt to distract himself after a woman had left him. So automatically, if you're like, if you're a teenager, you understand what I'm talking about one day, maybe. I automatically know what type of dude Charles is when he tries to pick up chicks. Yeah, when he tries to get laid. He plays the soft card. Yeah, I can tell. He plays like the empathy card. Don't do that, by the way. Don't do that. So you want to know, this is relationship advice to your friend. Sorry, right? This is funny. So, so he said he created Bitcoin to distract himself after a woman left him. No, dude. No. Chuck, you don't tell him that, bro. Do you know what you tell them? You tell them, my ex was so annoying, I had to make the next revolutionary technology currency just to get her off my back. She called me 4 times a day. Don't tell Chuck that, friends. Probably going to be banging everyone's mums and wives and girlfriends if you learnt this stuff. Esoteric knowledge. Continuing. They mentioned Satoshi Nakamoto's identity is the ultimate mystery in cryptocurrency. And he or she, for all intents and purposes, is a god in the cryptocurrency community for performing the ultimate cypherpunk act, creating a decentralized currency that no government can control and then walking away from it with zero personal gain. When Roxy told the others about Charles's claims, it turned out he told a similar story to two other non-technology people, normies, the designers, one of whom had believed Charles. Another time, while the Zug group was hanging out in the gabled ceiling TV room at the Airbnb, Charles showed them an email account on his phone that looked related to Satoshi. In hindsight, one person thought he'd registered some email address and imported a bunch of emails by Satoshi. That'd be funny. Later on in the spaceship, he tried a similar move with a forum account named Satoshi Nakamoto, registered in 2009. A witness speculated that he just changed the name on an account. So, just interesting. I love this. We're all a bit wacky, friends, you know. Look, man, this is thing. I hope that's the worst thing you could. That's the worst thing you could find on him. Come on, bro. You know, and I'll call him Charles Cuckinson because he blocked me. Got to give him some claps, you know. My gosh, jeez, friends, I've probably got kids out there I don't even know about. So that's the worst thing they could do. I think that's pretty good, man. That's A+. That's the worst. Hey, nail clippings! He lied to a girl to try to get laid. Oh my gosh, bro. Oh man, that's what makes us, you know, that's what makes us tick here in this cryptocurrency land. So, you know, bringing it all back, we're still traversing the business cycle, friends. And we're still waiting for this tick up, man. Flash PMI. The forward-looking indicators of them are ticking up, but my gosh, man, the days are so long. Well, got to keep going. Like, subscribe. Catch you soon.